So last night I saw the new film 8-Bit Christmas. Now, much like Ghostbusters Afterlife, the trailers for this movie made it look really lame and just flat out bad. Like the trailers, I remember being roasted on the internet big time. Like people were talking about how stupid this movie looked and how just utterly this mindless and the product placement with the freaking Nintendo. It's the Wizard all over again, essentially. Because I believe that was also heavily, basically just one big ass advertisement for Nintendo. And so yeah, I remember seeing the trailer and thinking, oh god, this is gonna suck, and that was kind of a bummer because I like Neil Patrick Harris, so I was kind of, so I was like, I don't know if I was kind of half and half on whether I was gonna watch it at all. And then I saw that people were actually really liking the movie, which led me to think, maybe there's actually something to this movie. And yeah, they were right. This isn't a fantastic movie by any means, because it does have issues, but it was still a decent movie. I'm shocked. So as you can probably tell from the trailer, because it was blatantly obvious, the story is about a kid who's trying desperately to get a Nintendo around the holidays, because most of the story takes place, it's told in a really How I Met Your Mother style, where he's telling his kid a story. Normally I wouldn't make that connection, because a lot of stories do this, but it's Neil Patrick Harris, so I feel obligated to. And there's even a couple of portions where he, changes certain things, because he's telling the story to a kid who I believe is, 10 years old, 12 maybe, at most. And he's constantly, censoring things, or... Because, okay, for example, the very first thing is just him riding a bike somewhere, and he of course, is not wearing a helmet. Nobody wore a helmet in the 80s, and his daughter asked, "Are you wearing a helmet?" I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "Yes." It was the 80s. Everybody wore helmets. And that's ass backwards, but it's pretty, and the movie knows it, and that was pretty funny. The movie has a lot of pretty clever jokes like that. The humor is, a lot of the time the humor isn't very funny. Well, I'd say the humor hits about as much as Boss Baby 2, to where the jokes hit maybe 35% of the time. There were multiple portions. I watched this at home, because I'm not going to go to a theater to watch 8-Bit Christmas. The next movie I see in theaters well, I've got the pre-screening for Sing 2, but in a few days, but so yeah, there were multiple times where I actually rewound stuff because it was actually really funny, and I won't say what any of the jokes are because you need a lot more context to understand them, so I'm just not going to bother here. And I do think the biggest thing about this is that, oh my god, I kind of just got lost there. It's weird to the fact that there are some movies this year I wanted to like so much and I hated. I wasn't even sure if I wanted to like this, because on the one hand, it's such a corporate shell for Nintendo, with a system that pretty much nobody uses anymore. I own one at home, but it's my dad's, so... Because back when they started, reselling Nintendos again, we ended up getting one for my dad for Christmas or something like that. Yeah, that's again, this movie's kind of hard to talk about, so let's get into the acting. It's all pretty good. Neil Patrick Harris is, of course, a phenomenal talent. The younger version of himself is the kid from Night Books, and what was the other movie? Oh, that Timothy Failure movie from last year, I want to say, that I never saw. He was in something else that I recognize, but yeah, he was in that Night Books movie from a few months ago, and he's pretty good in the film. There's also Steve Zahn, who you may know as Frank Heffley from the good live action Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies, and later today I'm making my review of the animated Diary of a Wimpy Kid film. It's 58 minutes, it hardly counts, and no, I did not like it, so... So it was moving on, but he's kind of playing the same character. He's playing a hard ass who, and at the end you're supposed, and at the end it's the same thing basically. He's playing the same character, so, but plays the character well. Unfortunately, for some reason, the dad is a huge, like even more of a dick than Frank was at times. Like he is a colossal douchebag at times. It is not entertaining to. It is sometimes it's just not entertaining to watch. It gets to that point, and when I'm not entertained watching Steve Zahn, you kind of screw up there. And like I said, the plot for this is like pretty anemic, but honestly, it wasn't that bad. It was just it reminded me a lot of A Christmas Story, kind of. And not the tacky bullshit that people know it as today. The actual, like, small story of A Christmas Story. It was kind of like that. Just, of course, a bit lighter. And filled with a few more cringy jokes. But, and also, I forgot to mention, this movie has an appearance by David Cross, of all people. Just out of nowhere. I remember when I saw Eternals and Harry Styles showed up, and I thought, oh yeah, he was in this, because I looked at the cast list. I looked at the cast list for this, I don't remember seeing David Cross on there, or maybe the more I think about it, maybe I did see it on there and I just forgot, but when he showed up, I thought, holy crap, I haven't seen David Cross in anything since Alvin and the Chipmunks 3, I think. So it was kind of surprising to see him, but he's always fun. Whoops. He doesn't do that much funny in this, even though he's a phenomenal talent. He's the guy the character meets who gives him, like, this big inspirational pep talk, I guess. It's one of those, but it's just nice to see David Cross. So, yeah, is there much else to talk about? I have not been 7 minutes, it's not bad. Is there anything else to talk about in this? One thing I do think that's hilarious that this movie did is that it really showed what a piece of shit the Power Glove was. Like, so the movie starts off, there's this, like, the rich kid in town owns a Nintendo. And so, and of course, eventually he gets a Power Glove, and people are, like, freaking out, like, oh my god, the Power Glove looks so cool. And, of course, when you start playing, the Power Glove doesn't work. Like he's doing, and this movie also does show how phenomenally stupid the parents are, the people who think video games are the ones that incite violence are. Because their kid is a fucking psycho. It's the same kid, essentially, and he ends up breaking the TV when the Power Glove doesn't work, and the TV falls on their dog. The dog survives, somehow. That big ass TV. The dog is like this big. It's one of those little hairless rats, and not a Chihuahua. It is a disgusting dog, and it's like this big. That TV is flattening that thing. It's not gonna get away with a couple of broken bones. That thing is flattened. That thing is flat Stanley. But whatever. And the parents, of course, blame video games, and they try to ban video games in the town, and it works. What? But whatever, and it does, at least it does show how phenomenally stupid these people are. Because if you seriously think video games incite violence, you're dumb as hell. There's no other way to put it. It's not an opinion, that is a fact. You are stupid if you think video games incite violence. I'm not saying that you need to be playing video games 24/7. Hell no. I own a PS4. It's sitting right over there. I haven't played it in a while because I've been busy finishing up my semester. So yeah, I haven't played it in a while. So I'm not saying you need to be playing this 24/7. But if you think those incite violence, just go away. Just go away. No one's gonna take you seriously, and people aren't. You see those petitions that people try to make nowadays to get video games banned because they think it incites violence? Yeah, exactly. You don't, because those go under after about 2 days because nobody takes it seriously, and this movie kind of taps into that as well. So I did appreciate that, and I like the resolution for this. So spoiler, I guess this movie's been out for a week and a half now, I want to say. So the resolution of this is that he doesn't get a Nintendo for the holidays. and his dad builds him a tree fort that yeah, it was like was it a tree fort? It was just some kind of fort outside, and he unwittingly was helping him with it, but he was like fixing some of the stuff that he ended up putting in the tree fort. So he was actually helping him the entire time. That was actually pretty cool. Not only that, what I was thinking was the same thing Harris's daughter was thinking in the story, where the Nintendo was hidden somewhere in there, and it wasn't. Right after that, he says, no, the next summer, he says, I never got one for the holidays. It was like the next summer, it was like one, I want to say he worked an entire summer doing something in a golf course, I don't remember, here for his grandpa, and he earned enough money to buy it himself. That's actually a really great resolution and a great lesson to teach kids. That is a very good resolution for this film. So, yeah, this is definitely worth probably one viewing. I probably won't watch it again, but I did kind of have fun with it, I'm not going to lie. There were plenty of jokes that got a laugh out of me. I did like the plot, and I especially liked the ending. If you've seen pretty much any of my previous videos, you know I've had my fair share of run-ins with terrible endings of movies this year. Sweet Girl, Troll Hunters, Rise of the Titans, Justice League. They've all had such terrible endings. This one was pretty much saved by its ending. I was probably gonna go C minus ish. Ending pushed it up to a C plus. So thank you all so much for watching. Did any of you see 8-Bit Christmas? I don't think this is I know it's in theaters and on HBO Max. I don't even know if this is doing well at the box office at all. It probably had a low budget, so it's probably going to still turn a profit regardless. But if you saw it, what did you think? And if you haven't seen it, again, I recommend probably just one, maybe two viewings if you want. But I wouldn't recommend more than that, because this is one of those things that's like, okay, yeah, one viewing was enough. It was good, but one was enough. So that's all I got for 8-Bit Christmas, and now I have to go watch Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City and make a review of the animated Dare of Wimpy Kid movie. And then I have to work on my November ranking.